All right, what's going on, everybody? So in today's video, I'm going to be going over 7 different rules for buying a house. And this comes from almost a decade's worth of experience as a real estate investor, real estate broker, having purchased numerous properties myself. So I've boiled it down to basically 7 specific rules that you're going to find out in this video. Okay, so rule number 1, you want to start looking at properties before you're really ready. But if you're thinking about buying a house, you should start getting out there and looking at different properties of all different price ranges, neighborhoods, condos, townhouses, just to get a feel for what's out there. And in the real estate investing world, we always talk about you want to look at least 100 deals before choosing one. And the same is true when just looking at purchasing a property. You want to get out there, and you don't necessarily need to see 100, but you really need to get a feel for what the values are, what you like about some properties, what you dislike, different things like that. Because what you'll find, and I've seen this happen numerous times, you might be originally looking at buying a townhouse, and then you go see different townhouses and you realize you might want a condo, or you might want a single family house, or any number of scenarios. So that's why it's important to look at pictures online, but you also actually want to get out there in person and just start, get a lot of reference experiences before you actually want to pull the trigger on, a property. Okay, rule number 2, and this is more if you want to see your property appreciate in value, but you should purchase a property in a transitional neighborhood. And I believe in the Zillow book, he talks about you want to purchase where all the hipsters live. And I don't even know what a hipster is. I think a hipster is one of those things. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. So try to buy in those like cool up and coming neighborhoods. Maybe they're, it's going through a lot of transition. A lot of times they might be older neighborhoods that weren't always considered the nicest neighborhoods, but they're typically close to like a downtown, and there's a lot of potential value there. Okay, rule number 3 for buying a house is you should use a real estate agent. I see a lot of people that think they can just do it by themselves. And look, if you're like a savvy real estate investor and you're a professional real estate investor, that's one thing. But just because you might have bought a house or two does not make you eligible to just say, I don't need a real estate agent. Because even the most mediocre real estate agent, like you just want someone on your side. You want someone on your team backing you up, vouching for you. It's a big investment. There's no reason to just go at it alone. And the best ways to find a good real estate agent, just get referrals, look at reviews. You don't need to find necessarily the mega agent. You can if you want. That'd be great too. But just find a good, highly rated local real estate agent. Okay, rule number 4 for buying a house, you should always have a rainy day fund. So when you purchase a property, whether it's a small condo or a massive mansion, you should always have a rainy day fund. Because the thing with home ownership, there's going to be unexpected costs that come up. And maybe you might lose your job. Maybe you might have different reasons where you need to spend a lot of money on something. So you should have at least like 6 months of income just saved away before you even think about purchasing a property. I just bought a house a few months ago, and the entire boiler needs to be replaced. That's about $10,000 cost right there. I'm sure I'm going to find some other issues with it. So always have some money saved away when you're thinking of purchasing a property. And number 5, and this kind of goes hand in hand with having a rainy day fund, but when you're under contract to purchase, and even before you purchase, you want to clean up your credit as much as possible. You want to pay off any debt. And obviously you don't want to make any big purchases when you're under contract to purchase a property, because that can affect your ability to qualify for a loan. I've heard of numerous horror stories almost of people, switching jobs right before they're about to purchase a property, which basically disqualify them from purchasing the property because you need income statements, or purchasing a car, trying to make even large furniture purchases. So save all that stuff for after you close on the deal. All right, rule number 6 is you shouldn't buy too weird of a house. So, and what I mean by that, some neighborhoods, you always want to try to buy, the worst house in the best area. That's what everybody says. However, I think there is an exception to that rule. So in some older neighborhoods, some transitional neighborhoods, you might find a property where maybe it's like a 2-bedroom house, and it's like 800 square feet, or maybe even less than that. And it's like one level, and it's just not a practical property. Because if you bought that house, yeah, it's going to be significantly under the comps, but you're going to have to do like a massive addition, or maybe even tear it down just to make it like fit in with the other properties. Because when you go to resell it down the road, it's just going to stand out, and more than likely it'll just be a builder that will just have to knock it down and rebuild it. And another example of kind of like a weird property might be, I was just looking at one, it was like the smallest condo in the city. So things that are that unusual, like they're just going to sell for a significantly lower amount. So you just need to be very conservative with those types of properties. It's okay if it's a little bit different, but just don't be too extreme from the neighborhood comps. Now, if you're a more experienced real estate investor, then, by all means, I know some people that, look specifically for those properties because they're just going to tear them down and build a new house, or maybe do a massive addition or different things like that. But I wouldn't do it if it's like your first property. All right, and lastly, rule number 7, if you're purchasing a property, expect to hold on to it for a minimum of 3 years and ideally more than that, even 5 years or ideally longer than that, just so you can recoup the value and ideally build some equity up in the property. Because if you're just looking at buying a house just for a year or two, just because properties are going up and everyone's talking about real estate, that's generally speaking not a great idea. You know, if you're doing a short-term flip and you just find a property significantly under market value, that's one thing. But if you're just looking to resell it a year or two later, that can get pretty risky. Okay, so there you have it, the 7 rules of buying a house. And I'll actually put the full description below so you can just look at that as well. And feel free to share this video, like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.